Hi, I'm Amy Yohe, principal of Abeka Academy, and I have two of my favorite fourth grade teachers with me today, our Abeka Academy video teachers, Miss Amy Emsbaugh and Mrs. Barbie Tapua. And we're just really excited to talk today to the parents of students who are going into fourth grade. Ladies, we're wrapping up a school year right now, and every school year has its uniquenesses, but this one certainly has been unique. And one of the neat things about us packing up our classrooms at the end of the year is, I don't know for you, but for me, the anticipation starts to build. As I'm packing things away, I'm often packing them away in the order that I'm going to need to pull them out in next year. So I'm already starting to envision, as I start to miss the students who have left my classroom, I'm already starting to envision who's going to be sitting in the classroom next. And you're acknowledging, I think, that you feel much the same way as you finish out one school year and start the next. And so as we're talking to the families that we get to serve through the Abeka Academy homeschool videos, I want to give the parents some information that they can be thinking about over the summer if they're taking a summer break. Many of them will roll right into the next school year, of how they're going to take everything that their children learned in third grade with the new resources and Ms. Heindel's new videos from this past year, and how that's going to transition into your classroom for fourth grade. Now, I know that you recorded videos for fourth grade really just a few years ago. We updated the fourth grade videos even ahead of the revision of the fourth grade textbooks, and you were excited to incorporate technology and just all kinds of fun things into your classroom with that update to the videos. So as you're thinking about your incoming fourth grade Abeka Academy students this coming school year, they're coming to you from using the new third grade materials with some foundational knowledge and skills that your students hadn't had previously. And as I've talked to you and to other fourth grade teachers, I've heard a lot of enthusiasm about all that students are coming in with and how you're going to be able to utilize that and build on that in the upcoming school year. So let's talk about that today in a couple of different subject areas. We've got with us parents the detailed scope and sequence that you have access to on the Abeka website, which shows us in red type for fourth grade all of the things that are still brand new for fourth grade. Students still haven't had a number of these concepts and topics, but they're better prepared for them than they ever have been before. So Mrs. Tapua, let's start with language arts. I love language arts, and I know that even more recently you have an opportunity to contribute to Abeka's language arts curriculum development, which has given you a new experience in developing products and also used your expertise from the classroom. So is there anything particular that you're excited about for these outgoing third graders and incoming fourth graders to bring with them into your classroom?
Let me tell you, Mrs. Yohe, I not only have I taught the fourth grade and had my hand in the new fourth grade materials, but I'm also the parent of a current third grader who next year gets to use some of the same materials that our homeschool families will be using. And I've seen the growth in her using the new third grade that my other children didn't have coming up through third grade. And that's been really exciting to think about the things that my Audrey is ready for going into fourth grade, and to hear her talk and to express herself in ways that that the others just didn't quite learn
and
the same way.
And she's your middle child, so you've had experiences on both ends and in the middle of this transition. That's great.
So there's a lot to be excited about coming out of that new third grade. And when I think about what I know from fourth grade, having been the fourth grade language arts teacher, there are so many things that she is ready for. And I think about what she already knows. She knows a lot more about parts of speech than her older siblings did at that point in third grade. In fact, sometimes we'll be having a conversation and something will come up and she'll make a comment that's language related, and my two older ones are a little bit mind blown that she knows some of those things. So that's been really neat in our family. But there are more parts of speech that she hasn't learned about yet. And so I'm excited that in fourth grade, she'll be able to learn about those parts of speech.
So you're kind of talking about that gap that we were talking about earlier today, where it was kind of a wide gap with parts of speech and language from what they learned in third before to what they were going to learn in fourth grade. And now that's just kind of been narrowed. They learned a little bit more in third grade, and yet there's still new parts of speech to learn in fourth grade. So I'm excited.
Yes, and even some of the parts of speech that she has already learned about in third grade, she's going to learn more about those same parts of speech. I'm thinking specifically about adjectives. I don't know why that's popped into my mind, but she knows what an adjective is and what it does. Maybe she doesn't know, though, the idea of predicate adjective and that function in a sentence, and she doesn't know how to diagram. I love diagramming. She doesn't know how to diagram that yet. And that's something she'll get to find out more about in 4th grade. And not only the predicate adjectives, but some of those other noun functions as well, direct object and those other complements. So I'm excited that she'll be able to take what she has learned, which is so much, and still be able to make forward progress. Maybe not quite that giant step that 4th grade, I used to refer to it as culture shock. It was a culture shock coming out of 3rd grade and into 4th grade. And maybe it won't be quite the shock anymore, but there's still so much to learn.
So you don't sound concerned at all that your Audrey is going to be bored next year in 4th grade language?
Not a bit. Not a bit.
You're going to see it challenge her. So Ms. Amsbaugh, let's jump over to you. Arithmetic, science, and history. Is there anything particular that the 3rd graders are coming in with that you really feel excited that you're going to be able to build upon?
Yes. One of the things I noticed as a 4th grade teacher was history was very difficult for the upcoming 3rd graders, and just the having to listen and remember facts. They were not quite ready, and it was almost an adjustment of this is how we do history. And I remember one time saying, okay guys, I'm going to explain something and then you're going to need to remember, but now the history books look very similar in some ways, but there's so much in the 4th grade book. It goes into detail about those people, the maps that they learn. There's a lot more detail. And then just even at the beginning of every history lesson, we start off with, those Americans Creed, Declaration of Independence. They don't do those in 3rd grade. And so it is still a learning curve, but I feel like it just definitely closed that gap. So they're more prepared.
I'm excited about that, and I'm excited too about the discussions and the thinking questions, the critical thinking skills that were developed in 3rd grade that they're going to be able to pull up into 4th grade. So as you pose questions perhaps in your class, they're going to be able to think more deeply than just a factual response to those questions, but they'll be equipped to be able to have discussions. And if not with the students on the video, because I realize that's hard from a video classroom environment to an at-home environment, but certainly it's prepared the on-site teachers, the moms, the dads, the grandparents at home to be able to prompt those kinds of discussions because of what they've been prepared with from 3rd grade.
And that's great for history and science, but that's going to work really well in 4th grade reading as well. These 3rd graders coming into 4th grade are so curious, and they are good at critical thinking. You give them a little nugget and they can take it and go. And so they are ready for you to dig into those stories and to discuss the text structures and the elements of the story, like the plot and the main character, motivation, and things along those lines. You'll have so many opportunities with those 4th grade readers to really dig in and discuss some of those same things. They're ready for it.
That's so important to equip the parents with, because so little of reading is on video. You whet their appetites, you get them started, but the actual reading time, the discussion time, the critical thinking, the opportunity to analyze, like you said, the stories, really is that one-on-one time that the parent or the on-site teacher has with the child at home. Mrs. Tapua, you've reminded me of a couple of resources that we had provided to our families through our blog to just help build off of that, and a couple of those were digital downloads, a character web that they could use to analyze a reading story. So even though the teacher materials or the student materials for 4th grade might not necessarily call for that type of analyzing, we've got the resources available for our parents to be able to do that. I'm also thinking about the writing opportunities that they're prepared for now. And I know you've got lots of, even in science, there's writing opportunities in 4th grade. So those writing opportunities, and we've got a chart that can help them organize their paragraph structure so that as they get into the writing opportunities in language, as well as in other subject areas, we've got resources that the students will be familiar with from 3rd grade that the on-site teacher can pull out and use with the students to help them organize their thoughts in writing as well.
The 3rd graders using our new 3rd grade materials are so good at expressing their own thoughts and writing a summary or writing a paragraph and knowing how to build those things. And the fourth grade writing program is going to really just build on that. They are going to be such good writers in fourth grade as they learn to write a composition from using encyclopedia information, which really lays the groundwork for some research reports later on in elementary. And so what a smooth transition this is from that foundation of writing a summary, writing a paragraph, and what elements go into a paragraph, and now we'll move that into a little bit of a composition and then be able to build on that in later years.
So we've got brand new experiences for them, but you sound like you feel like the building blocks have already been in place.
Absolutely.
Now to help them attack those new projects, those bigger projects. Maybe they won't be quite as scary to them because of the skills that they've developed. I can't help but think, as I think about those resources, Ms. Amsbaugh, too, about another one, which was a scientific method chart. So in third grade science, so much was built into them being a scientist and learning the scientific method and seeing how that applied to different demonstrations and perhaps even experiments that we did in third grade science. Are there any opportunities in fourth grade science where they'll be able to utilize that scientific method?
Yes, one thing I remember when teaching fourth grade is there's a lot of things that they learned that they can see in real life. I was looking at the science activity book and all the different birds and all the different insects that they learn, and this really just gets it ingrained in them. And I get letters sometimes from students. Today I saw, and they give me specifics, but I think the fourth grade science is very in depth for them, and so I think all the foundation they had in third grade, it can only help them, so that way as they're learning about the ear or whatever they're learning about, they have just that better foundation.
So there's still just that natural step up. They've got a good solid foundation, but we're going to continue to build on it even in science. That's awesome. Anything else? We haven't touched on arithmetic. Is there anything about arithmetic?
Actually, I was just thinking, so I teach summer school for our weaker students, and I teach third and fourth grade. And this last summer when I was teaching those weaker students, they're the students that, they naturally struggled all year. I know when I teach fourth grade, fractions are very difficult for students, and you feel like you explain it multiple times in multiple ways. And one thing I was so appreciative of with the new third grade is my summer school students I felt like they grasped the concept much better. And so as we were going over the things that they naturally struggled with, they already had so much more of a foundation. And I just thought, wow, this is going to be so nice for the fourth grade teachers, because then when you're going into uncommon denominators and all the different steps, they already have a much stronger foundation. Multiplying, I know, with 3 digits, sometimes things like that are very difficult. But when they multiply with 2 digits already, then they just have that.
Sure. What I hear you describing is what's always been a strength of Abeka, which is that spiral learning approach where we revisit, but at the same time we rebuild. I like to think of it as a spiral staircase, which I don't like to climb in life. I got to do that yesterday, actually, and that's a little bit terrifying. But in education, it works so well because not every student is going to grasp things at the same rate. And so as we revisit some of those concepts, a student who perhaps was weaker in fractions has had more of an opportunity now through third grade, but we're going to visit it again, make sure that foundation is solid, and then build on those concepts. But a student who got it is still going to be challenged because you've got new areas of arithmetic to move into that are going to challenge them and that they're ready for because of that solid foundation from third grade. That is exciting to hear. Mrs. Tapua, anything else that you had thought about with your other subjects? Spelling is one that we haven't touched on. Do you feel like they're better prepared for fourth grade spelling? Are they still going to be challenged by fourth grade spelling?
I think they will still be challenged. Their fourth grade spelling, they'll get some familiarity with etymology, the history or the origin of words. Word parts would take the words apart a little bit and see similarities and differences and definitions within some of the words. We are going to expand their vocabulary through spelling this into fourth grade. So yes, they're going to learn new things that they are ready for.
And it sounds like they've been prepared for that, because in third grade we approach the spelling still from that phonics focus and that rules basis to spelling that we brought up from first grade, second grade into third grade. Now fourth grade, you're jumping out a little bit more into the etymology, maybe into other languages and how they've influenced the English language. So I do sense from what you're describing still another step up in the level of difficulty of spelling that they're prepared for.
Something I really like about fourth grade spelling is that the students will learn to spell their state name and the abbreviation for their state. They'll do that, of course, for all 50 states.
Sure.
Through the year of spelling, but I've been a Florida resident my entire life, born and raised. I've never taught outside of the state of Florida except where Abeka Academy has taken me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen my state, Florida, spelled incorrectly so many times. Well, now we're going to nail it.
Can spell Florida correctly. That'll be enjoyable for the students.
And thinking about state-related things, that reminds me about something else that happens in fourth grade history.
Yes, in fourth grade history, we do a big project that's My State Notebook. And I know we were talking earlier about how a lot of just qualifications, they have to have some state basis. And this is a lot like similar to the animal notebook, where it's a big project, but it's learning about their governor and their, the state bird, the state motto, the flower, all these different things. And then it's done in a project, and it's good family time for sure.
Yes.
Working with parents, but it really teaches the students, and I know when I learned a lot myself about what's going on in their state as well.
So they're going to take those research and writing skills that we developed in third grade, language and writing, and even be able to apply it to the history, to the My State Notebook. I think this is a project that has been a little daunting for some in the past. And I think because of the skills that students are coming in with, it's going to still be a challenging project, but it's going to take and pull together skills that they're coming in with from third grade into a project format that'll perhaps be a little less daunting, but no less educational for them in the end.
Sure.
Ladies, you've been a tremendous help today, I think, in articulating from your personal experience, not only as a teacher, as a parent that's going through this transition with your own child, as a summer school teacher that has seen the benefit that students have gleaned as they've come from the new third grade materials and now into the fourth grade materials. Families, we know you're excited to get the new fourth grade materials, and I think I can speak for Mrs. Tapua, who's contributed to them, that we can't wait for you to get your hands on those, but we do need you to allow us a little bit more time, because we do create parent-specific materials for each of the products that we create, and we need some time to do that and to release it to you in a timely manner. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Thank you for your patience. We hope we've done a little bit today to put your minds at ease that your students are still going to be challenged as they move into Abeka's fourth grade materials. And for those of you, and I followed a couple of conversations on social media, that are just really excited to get your hands on some new fourth grade materials, I think we do have a couple of opportunities for you if you want to purchase something to supplement the current fourth grade packages that you'll be ordering for homeschooling for this next fall. There's a couple of resources that if you're able to, you might want to add to the fourth grade package. The first of those is Pilgrim's Progress and Christiana's Journey. Your students in third grade read Pilgrim's Progress, Christian's Journey, which was the first half of this story. This is the continuation of that book. So if your students enjoyed Christian's Journey and you'd like a resource that would just be outside of your normal schooling that you could read perhaps even as a family, Christiana's Journey, the continuation of the allegory of Pilgrim's Progress, would be a wonderful resource that you might want to pick up and use with your students this year. So we'll be making that available to you. And another resource that we are very excited about, and we purposely developed this one so that we could allow you to use it, release it for you to use in conjunction with the current fourth grade Bible materials, is the Bible 4 journal. This journal is meant to be used as you teach the Salvation series, the 5 series that are part of the Genesis series, the 5 parts of the Life of Christ series, and then the 2 parts of the Paul series. This is a wonderful student journal that allows students to write down their thoughts as they learn those different stories, answer some questions, some thought-provoking questions that allow them to apply biblical truth. It has an archaeological theme to it, so you'll see the idea of digging deeper into God's Word. At the end of each series, there's a section called Assemblage Analysis that allows them to pull together much of what they've learned from that series of stories and articulate some additional thoughts. There's opportunities for them to do creative writing exercises in conjunction with what they've learned in Bible. And then there's just some fun pages like a verse coloring page that the students might enjoy doing on their own time. Again, this would not be written into the fourth grade Bible curriculum that you'll be using this year, but it would be a wonderful supplement, something really special for your student to use to help show how they're internalizing the truths and the applications that they're learning from Bible as they go into fourth grade this year. Teachers, I want to thank you again, not only for talking with us today, but for your investment in your Abeka Academy classroom. You've impacted thousands and thousands of lives already, and we're excited about the students who will continue with us this year in fourth grade with Abeka Academy. Have a great day.